out there. Isn't it great to wake up to see God's gift of a brand new day? Ano ba? Are you feeling beautiful today? Every morning, after our morning talk with God, let's make it a habit to face the mirror and do some self-talk. Tell yourself you are a child of God. It will definitely give you a boost. Nako, hello everybody again. My name is Chicky, one of your hosts for today. Please keep us company till the end for another enriching episode in our podcast series.
Yes,
Yes.
Chicky, what a beautiful morning to be with you and the rest of our viewers today. Whether you're joining for the first time or the nth time, we welcome you here in our Life to the Max program. And of course, we know that there are people who've been wanting to watch our past episodes. So just to backtrack a bit, we had our last episode July 24, and it was such a hit.
Yeah.
Hashtag happiness goals. Yan,
Mhm.
sino bang hindi gustong maging happy? Pero hindi lang happiness 'yon, marami pang iba, right? And we will
Yes.
get to know more about that also in the face of adversity, diba? The treasures that we see today. So that time, our hashtag happiness goals, we get to see how these guests na we invited, we can see the Lord's definition of happiness. So yeah, please go to our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, CCF Life with the Max page if you'd like to watch on demand. Yeah, and you can still catch it, diba? So we can have difficult circumstances, pero the Lord shows us what it means to be truly joyful in His presence. So, ito rin, at the end of our show today, we have a group discussion. Yeah, it's not just learning together here on this webcast, but also discussing together. So later we will show you the Zoom details before we end this program. It's free and you don't have to pay anything. Free nga eh. So just register with in Zoom with the name, etc. And we will watch out for you later. Chicky?
All right. So feel free to also participate in our discussions by typing on the chat or comment section of wherever you're watching us from. Especially if you have questions, type those in, but keep them short para ma-feature natin sila sa screen. Para kumasya siya sa screen, in other words. Now, back to the present reality. Sino ang walang problema?
Ay,
Sino ang hindi dumaan sa pagsubok? Meron ba? Meron ba? Of course, no one in this world is exempt from problems and trials. But how can we hurdle life's challenges? Is it possible to find hidden gems under the rubbish? If you've watched YouTube vlogs of dumpster divers in first world countries, you will see for yourselves that there are things of value under heaps of trash. Diba? Napanood nyo ba yun? May pera sa basura. Sometimes, literally, may pera sa basura. That can also be true when adversities come knocking at our door. That's exactly what we're going to find out from the stories we will listen to in today's topic, aptly titled Finding Treasures in Adversity. Riva, how about we introduce our guests for today?
yes, Chicky. I'm excited to know more about how we can see the Lord's treasure in adversity. So our first guest, like to introduce, graduated with honors from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines with a degree in BS Psychology. Her professional career took her to a ride from sales trainer to human resource officer to preschool teacher, psychologist, and group fitness instructor. She is at present a financial advisor. She was a happy wife to her wonderful husband Mon for 25 years and became his helpmate as a pastor's wife before the Lord took Mon home 3 years ago. And we'll find out more about that later. Now, as a single parent, she has an adult son and daughter. She still serves as a discipleship leader, counselor, educator, resource person, and above all, a bondservant of Christ. Life Maxers, dear friends, join me in welcoming Miss Bing Resurreccion. Hello, Bing. So glad that you're
Hi,
here with
Ting.
us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Indeed, it is a blessing to be here with all of you.
Grabe, excited kami. Ako lagi akong excited to hear your story kahit na narinig ko na. It's always so encouraging, inspiring. All right. So next in our lineup of guests is a graduate of computer science, formerly a government employee. He is presently an entrepreneur and a small group leader in church. He has been married to wife Jane for 17 years. Their union bore a daughter and a son, but sadly, the son had gone on to be with the Lord. Happy na din kasi he's with the Lord. Ladies and gents, let's all welcome Mr. Jo Jose. Hi, Jo. Good morning. Yan. Hi, Jo. Good
Hello.
mo. Yan. Hello.
Morning. Good morning,
Ayan.
Ross. Yes,
Yes.
and last but not the least, our third guest is a graduate of La Consolacion College with a degree in communication arts. Her work experience includes stints as a corporate trainer and human resource officer. Currently, she is an entrepreneur engaged in the design and manufacturing of women's clothing under the brand name Divine Lily. Yes, and we will see more of her creation. Well, you can see it through. Um, Her page later, and she's also into manufacturing of handmade soaps under lily.ph. She serves as a worship leader in Exalt Ministry, that's a music ministry of CCF, and together with her husband, Bro Ron, they are ministry heads of the family ministry and are part of the Council of Servants in Christ Commission Fellowship, Taytay. She is a mom, a loving mom to her four beautiful daughters, Sky, Thea, Sam, and Matty. Let's say hello and welcome to Tess Rodrigo.
Good morning. A blessed day to everyone who is watching live to the max. And thank you so much for inviting me over.
Yes,
Yan.
thank
Ako,
you.
we're so Yeah, we're so excited to hear your stories. Okay, so ano ba? Wag na tayong patumpik-tumpik pa. Let's jump right in with my first question for all of you. What is your normal reflex reaction when sudden, unforeseen circumstances happen or get in the way of your plans? So let's start with the ladies muna. Bing, okay lang? Let's hear from you first.
Siyempre,
Anong
shock.
normal reflex reaction?
Shocked,
Sige.
devastated, perhaps angry, shattered,
Mm.
shaken. Dami, no?
Oh, ang
Halo-halo,
dami.
all in one.
Legit.
Yes. How about Tess?
My reaction during that time, when I talagang na-discover namin that my husband diagnosed as stage 3B cancer, colon cancer, was a mix of surprise, concerned, tapos confused ako, and why did it happen to us? Yeah, yun.
Yeah. Thank you. How about you, Jo? Anong reaction
Hello.
mo?
Nung una parang ang tagal niya mag-sink in kasi
Yeah.
parang fever lang and then parang cancer na siya. Gano'n, parang alam mo 'yun, 'di mo alam kung
Yeah.
anong emotion yung ibibigay mo. So,
Oo.
'yun.
Wow.
Okay.
What yeah, I can imagine no. Ang hirap mag-process at the time na biglang na iba lahat sa buhay niyo. What sudden unforeseen circumstance proved to be very tough adversity in your life? May naka-preview na tayo kanina nung mention ni Tess yung cancer diagnosis. How about for the others? Can you share with us what happened and give us an insight yung ano yung nangyari? Jo, ikaw muna.
Ayun 'no, nung una si Caleb ano lang, parang on and off na fever. S so, ah 'Yun, hanggang sa nag-antibiotic na siya and then later on, ini-request na namin i-admit sa hospital. Pero during that time kasi medyo hindi gano'n kabilis magpa-admit sa hospital kasi pandemic time. So,
Mm.
kailangan mong i-coordinate muna sa hospital. So, the good thing naman is, ah, bigay si God, dinirect si kami ni God dun sa mga tao na makakatulong para ma-admit siya. So, inano
Jo,
yung mga test. Sorry.
Jo, inadmit nyo na yung son nyo kasi matagal na yung fever niya? Tsaka mataas ba yung fever niya?
On and off siya na parang today okay siya, tapos bukas may lagnat na naman, then mawawala,
Mm.
then magkakaroon ulit. So, hanggang sa hindi na siya kumakain, and kaya nag-decide na kami that time na i-admit siya kasi parang nag-e-LBM na din siya.
Oo.
So, ang goal lang that time talaga is ma-dextrose siya. So,
Oo.
na hindi siya ma-dehydrate. But
Right.
nung lumabas na nung napasok na siya, and then may mga lab test na ginawa, yun, parang napansin na mataas yung abnormalities dun sa WBC niya, yung white blood cells.
Oo.
And hanggang sa ayun, mga test, hanggang sa nalaman na meron siyang AML, yung problem sa blood, and then hanggang ni-recommend na mag-undergo ng chemotherapy. So, yun, parang during 10 days lang in the hospital, parang ika-10 days, hindi na niya kinaya yung gamutan. Yes, hanggang sa na, na, nalagutan na siya ng hininga. Pero ang good thing nung doon experience is the day before na mag-pass away si Caleb, nagising siya nung midnight, and he wants to go out in the room. Paulit-ulit siya. And he's staring directly at the door na parang may nag-aantay sa kanya. And then he mentioned Jesus. So,
Wow.
yun yung assurance na parang na ano ko, naiwan sa akin. And then parang
Yeah.
after few days, I read sa Bible, sa John 14:3, yung, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. So, parang yun yung alam mo kahit na masakit, pero yung assurance na si Caleb is with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yun yung
So, kumbaga, Jo, nung dinala mo siya sa hospital, ninyo siya sa hospital, after 10 days, kinuha na siya ng God. Tama ba yung intindi ko?
yes, pinasok namin siya is July 13. So nag-pass away siya is July 23. And ano kasi talaga dapat doon, yung mommy niya ang magbabantay. But
Oo.
because nag-positive yung mom niya sa COVID
COVID.
test,
Oo.
antigen. So ako yung
Oo.
nagbantay. So
Oo.
yun, isa yun sa mga parang na ano yung good things din na parang dun sa loob kasi nasa COVID ward kami. Yung emotional challenges inside the room,
Oo.
baka hindi kayanin din ng wife ko. So, kasi sobrang
Alright.
close sila, eh. Kaya ako siguro yung inano ni God na magbantay doon. So, yun yung mga good things na nakikita ko after nung incident na yun.
Yes.
Joe, my heart breaks with yours, and I can just imagine the pain you're still going through. I know you're still grieving, and especially you recalling that. Thank you for the encouragement. I know it's hard to recall it, especially in public. So thank you that
Yes.
the Lord provided a way for you to share that story, and I know na the Lord is using this as we speak. Yun, pag-share mo, the people who are listening right now, it will be an encouragement beyond what you could think of or imagine in the midst of pain. So, hi, okay. What you will see as we go along with our conversation, the treasure in this adversity, and we'll also know more about the journey of Joe ngayon, no? Na talagang mahirap pa rin, pero the Lord is with him. So, how about Bing? prepare your tissue na. Okay?
Kuha lang ako ng tissue. Yes. Sige, Bing.
Yeah, for me, it was the sudden death of my husband 3 years ago. Our family went on a day tour in a private resort lang in Batangas with 5 other families. So it was after lunch, and then when everybody was preparing to go home, Mon and his other 3 friends, they went back to the beach. Sabi nila, last dip, last dip. Because si Mon talaga mahilig siya sa mga ganun last dip. Because he's a swimmer. He really loves the sea. Tapos, they were just standing on the shore. Nandun lang sila, malapit sa shore lang, siguro how many meters away lang. And the water was just waist deep. Tapos, they were facing the shore pa to make sure na malapit sila doon. And then suddenly, an unforgiving wave came from the back, swept them all away. So, nagkahiwa-hiwalay sila. And then, yung dalawa, umikot pabalik. Tinangay pabalik ng wave. Tapos, yung isa sobrang layo, nakakapit siya dun sa rope. Tapos si Mon naiwan sa gitna. And then the 3 survived and only Mon did not make it.
Wow, Bing, I am with you in your sorrow. I mean, in a resort and with friends, just seeing that so much harder na syempre would expect it was just a normal swim, and you said Mon like swimming. Grabe ang training ni God, no? In this time. Yeah. Bing, what was running in your head when were you there by the shore? I mean, ano yung sequence of events, ano yung mga iniisip mo when that happened?
Bali kasi when Mon and his friends went back to the shore, I was chatting with my, kasi ganito during lunch kasi, yung mga husbands sat together, the wives sat together, our children sat together with other children. So ganun. So chikahan pa kami ng isang mom. We're talking about life. And then suddenly, dumarating yung isang anak ng kasama namin. Malumanay pa niyang pagkakasabi. Tita Bing, si Tito Mon po napunta sa medyo malalim. Nire-rescue na po siya ng mga lifeguard. So, tumayo ako parang medyo manhid na ewan ko. But I was on the survival mode. Sabi ko, 5 minutes. Kasi I'm a first aider, certified first aider. So, lagi kami 5 minutes. We need to supply the oxygen for 5 minutes. So, when I was rushing to the shore, I was shouting CPR. Pero nung nakikita ko yung scene, normally I was expecting, since my husband was a swimmer, akala ko yung parang nakaakbay lang siyang gano'n. Tapos sabi niya, muntik na ako dun . But no, the scene was, alam mo yung sa mga movie na pag may mga fishermen na nalulunod, tapos kinukuha ng mga fellow fishermen, like he was being carried, I think, by more than 5 people. Tapos nakahiga. Sabi ko, teka, ba't ganito yung scene? That means he's unconscious. Tapos as they were approaching the shore, parang hindi maganda to. Totoo ba itong nakikita ko? Tapos I was shouting CPR. And then they were just looking at me. Sabi ko, ako magsi-CPR certified ako. Sabi ko ganyan. And then I commanded everybody to put him on the shore. Tapos nilagay pa nila doon sa medyo kalahati yung tubig, kalahati yung nasa sand. Sabi ko, no, dry ground. Flat ground. Sabi ko, that we cannot perform CPR kapag nakatagilid. So, together with my other male companions, yung mga husbands na hindi nag-swim, we performed the CPR. And then, we rushed him to the hospital. Tapos yung ambulance pa talagang, ako pa yung nagko-command. Sabi ko, ilak ninyo yung wheels kasi gumugulong . Sabi ko, you cannot close the door pag gumugulong yung stretcher. So I command them to lock the wheels, and then I asked the driver, how far is the nearest hospital here? 30 minutes away, ma'am. Oh my God. Then when I look at Mon, he's turning gray. Ayoko, that time, survival mode. Sabi ko, mamaya na ako iyak, magpe-pray muna ako. So I went with him together with another friend inside the ambulance. Claustrophobic ako. So ginawa ko, humarap ako dun sa window where I can only see what's outside. And then from then on, wala na akong ginawa kundi singing praises at the top of my voice. As in talagang sumisigaw ako, begging God to take pity on me na baka ma-please siya sa aking pagkanta at ibalik si Mon. Kasi the way I look at it, wala na si Mon. So sabi ko, Lord, marami namang stories na you bring people back to life. And then sabi ko pa nga, Lord, si kay Hezekiah nga, in-extend mo yung life. So you can do that to them. You can do that to my husband too. So I was really begging God. I was really singing, for 30 minutes, singing at the top of your voice habang umaandar yung ambulance, isipin mo. And then, yung sound ng sirens. So yung ganon, to the point na napagod ako. And then when I got tired, I sang yung, God is the strength of my heart. God is the strength of my heart. God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Kasi that time feeling ko, pagod na rin ako. Tapos sabi ko, Lord, pagod na ako. Sana naman dinggin mo yung panalangin ko. But when we arrived at the hospital, ako pa rin yung I gathered my composure. Sinabi ko sa doctor yung problema. Sabi ko, he just ate lunch. Baka barado yung lalamunan niya. So, butasan niyo dito kung kailangan. And then blah, blah, blah. So, I was really, literally, banging the gates of heaven to let my husband leave. But after 3 ECGs, after 45 minutes, narinig ko, nakailang turok sila ng epinephrine. Still, wala. When the doctor showed me the ECG, sabi, ma'am, this is the 3rd ECG. Flat. Sabi ko, ano to? Ma'am, ito po yung huli. Ganito na lang yun. So, wala na talaga. Actually pala, he was dead on arrival. He was declared dead on arrival. They just did yung kailangan, SOP, but really, pagdating pala niya, wala na talaga.
Thank you, Bing, for that very honest sharing. And feeling ko nandun ako, kinakwento yung the details and just thinking about, what you went through. And you're here today by God's grace, sharing it with us. Sabi ko nga, Tricky, hindi lang tissue kailangan dito para sa eyes, pati sa heart din. My heart bleeds and breaks for what you just went through. And we will learn also more about Bing's journey later after what happened and now that she's here. Whew, okay. How about Tess naman?
I don't know how to tell my story. Naiiyak. It's very parang nalungkot tuloy ako bigla. Pero sige, ganito, no. Sa husband ko naman, in June of 2020, my husband Ron had an emergency operation, no, due to unbearable pain. So it was later diagnosed stage 3B colon cancer na yun. So, and was advised to undergo chemotherapy. And he had to live with a colostomy bag for almost a year. Kasi after the surgery, hindi pwedeng pagdugtongin agad yung colon. So, but because of wanting to avoid yung mga inconveniences sa kanya o yung mga skepticism, so he made a decision not to undergo chemotherapy, but it was advised by his doctor, no. And so ayun, nag-agree naman ako sa kanya na hindi na siya magpapa-chemotherapy. So last May 2021, and Ron underwent a colostomy reversal. So inalis na ulit, inayos na yung colon niya, ibinalik sa dati, and relearned using the toilet again. Kasi for a year, dun siya sa colostomy bag, dun siya yung output ng waste, dun lumalabas. So, and then, moving on, June 2021, I brought my husband to the hospital because he was feeling very weak and almost fainted na. Talagang twice na yon. And Ron's hemoglobin levels were very low na, parang it was 55, parang talagang all the doctors recommended was that my husband get a BT, blood transfusion. So we just sourced out for blood, had that BT transfusion, no? And we were still able to attend the SELA 2022 in Baguio. But while in Baguio, Ron again felt very weak and he was making effort to not faint again. Although we were able to complete the SELA, no? We were unable to attend the majority of the SELA sessions, pero one of our D group members then offered to drive us back to Manila, no? And the very next day, we were back in the hospital. Again, Ron had very low hemoglobin levels, no? And it was recommended to have a blood transfusion again. Paulit-ulit lang kami, the same case, mababa yung hemoglobin niya. And again, Ron had a very low hemoglobin and it was recommended to have a BT and also to get a CT scan na at that time. No? And for the next 5 months, ayan na. So, but during the preparations of the CT scan, no, and it was being done, it was found out that his creatinine was above normal na. Parang ang taas na, parang 800 na ata yun. So parang sabi ko, ano kayang nangyayari? So the doctors, hindi rin nila alam kung ano yung diagnosis dun sa condition ni Ron. So at it was found out pala that his creatinine has a parang considered as acute kidney injury. May AKI na pala siya. So the doctors recommended him kasi for the past 3 days in the hospital, hindi na siya kasi nagwiwi na eh. So, the doctors recommended that Ron undergo a temporary dialysis. So, nag-dialysis na siya that time. So, after 3 sessions of dialysis, he was able to urinate again. Oh. Also, his creatinine went back to normal. When the CT scan was being done, we had to request to stop it because kasi hindi na pwede, nagkaroon na siya ng allergic reaction, no? So, dun sa contrast, pag nagsi-CT scan kasi may contrast na nilalagay. So, those 5 succeeding confinements were for the same reason of low hemoglobin in a different hospital. So, yun. Tapos nagsettle kami in a hospital sa Cardinal. So, pagdating namin doon, yun, na-COVID pa siya that time eh. So, hindi namin alam kung anong gagawin na. So, ang sinabi ng doctors na he should underwent a stent placement kasi nga may bara doon sa ureter niya. Yun yung nagkukos ng, kaya yung creatinine niya tumataas, nagkaroon ng blockage dun sa bladder niya in one of the ureters in the bladder. So, ang ginawa sa kanya, nag-place ng stent in the ureter and had a nephrostomy bag on the right side kasi it should work kasi yung kidneys para maging maayos yung pag-urinate niya eh. And yun, in the process naman, in December 2022, last year, Ron was again confined after vomiting dito sa bahay na repeatedly for a few days. The doctors, sabi nila, expressed, ano ba yun, hindi na natin alam, they cannot do anything further kasi ang dami nang ginawa kay Ron eh, hindi tumitigil yung pag-vomit niya eh, in the hospital, no? So, we felt as if we were just waiting for Ron to fade away. Sabi namin, Lord, ito na ba yung the moment na you will getting my husband na? Sabi ko gano'n, sabi ko, Lord, parang hindi ko pa alam. I'm not really prepared for that. So the thing is, we already said our goodbyes to each other, which was the most difficult thing to do as husband and wife, no? Sabi ko nga, Lord, ang hihirap kasi we are husband and wife team in the ministry. And in all honesty, I tell to God, I tell Him, sabi ko, Lord, kung kukunin mo yung husband ko, sino yung magiging partner ko in the ministry? Kasi you said it is a husband and wife team in the ministry. And I pleaded to God. Sabi ko, Lord, wag naman muna. Sabi ko, I know you have plans. May plano ka pa for us, di ba? And I cannot live without my husband in the ministry. And as I was contemplating that time, sabi ko nga I pleaded to the Lord that if there was a solution for for that moment, no, sabi ko, Lord, please send it away na. Sabi ko, already because it was already too difficult for us sa husband ko. And true enough, the very moment Ron got back to his bed, the doctor came in and said, we will place an NGT. And sabi niya, as a last ditch and effort ng mga doctor, sabi, and we will not take no for an answer. Kailangan mo ng NGT, no? So the NGT placement stopped the vomiting until he was strong enough to have a CT scan, no? Yun. So, and the CT scan has done, and after the CT scan, there was a blockage in Ron's intestines. Nagkaroon ng tumor recurrence doon sa small intestine niya. So, and may mga adhesions from the previous operations nung last year, no? So, sabi ng doctor, it needs to be operated on, and he had a major operation on December tong last year. And slowly, he regained his strength, no? So, yun yung aming pinagdaanan for that moment, nung last year, and yun po. Yun.
Wow.
Thank you,
Thank you
Tess.
for sharing that. Yeah. Thank you.
What a
Grabe
journey it
din.
has been, no, Chiki? Iba-iba. I just wanna clarify din sa ating mga viewers. So, hindi naman na mas grabe yung nangyari dun sa isa. Diba usually ginawa, grabe naman to. I know for what Tess said, parang hirap sundan ng stories kanina. But each one's journey is really unique. And it's not about comparing who got it worse or better, but it's how the Lord moves through all these situations. That's what we'll learn today, how God works and moves. Kung ano man yung context nyo, the Lord understands that and is with you. So just wanted to share that with you before we proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good nga na you mentioned that, because we're really not supposed to compare our lives with other people, kasi may kanya-kanya tayong path na dinadaanan. So, Tess, just to confirm, bale, your husband is okay now? Is he back in the ministry?
Yes, oo. He's back in the ministry, and I now see him making the most of the time in serving the Lord. Yun. In praise and worship and sharing the word. And we recently opened 2 new D groups pa nga for now.
Wow.
Nice. Praise God for that. Okay, my next question for everyone, no. Kasi pag halimbawa may life crisis ka, it hits you, especially major life crisis. Normally, ang nangyayari sa tao nagagalit sa God. Other people naman, they start praying. Parang yung kay Bing, 'di ba? Instead of, Lord, bakit naman? Ang ginawa niya, started singing praises to God at the top of her voice. Parang ako hindi ko alam kung magagawa ko nga yun But anyway, ano yung specific prayer ninyo to God when you were confronted with the prospect of losing your loved one? Bing, let's start with you. Nung nakita mo na si Mon, parang gray na siya. Because you have training sa first aid, syempre alam mo 'di ba kung ano yung nangyayari na talaga. So when you were seeing that, tapos you were singing at the same time, nagpe-pray ka rin ba you mentioned na you were praying, pero what was going through your head when that was happening simultaneously?
Siyempre una, I was bargaining with the Lord kasi ang feeling ko talaga wala na siya. Pero sabi ko, Lord, walang imposible sa iyo. Kasi you created the world out of nothing. With just one word, let there be light, there was light. So sabi ko, kayo naman yung creator ni Mon. So if possible, please bring him back. Kasi ang dami pa niyang gagawin ministries. Kasi di ba he's the overseer of CCF Angono. Tapos the church is one of the fastest growing church in Metro East. So I was really telling the Lord, ang dami pa niyang gagawin. And then I was really begging the Lord, kung pwedeng ako na lang instead of him. Kasi, kumbaga parang wala naman akong silbi kasi I'm just a wife supporting him. Pero mas siya yung ginagamit. So, ang nangyari, so di nawala na nga. So, I was really shocked. Tapos, nagbago na yung prayer. Actually, I really got angry with the Lord. But I was very confident with my relationship with Him. Nagtantrum talaga ako. Talaga nag-walk out ako. I was very angry. I really expressed to God how disappointed I was, how angry I was. Tapos, it's just that by the grace of God, hindi, buti na lang that God is so gracious. Hindi niya pinatulan yung mga foolishness ko. And then,
Yeah.
when I came to my senses, I told God, sabi ko, hindi ko to kaya. I can't believe this is happening. And then the Lord spoke in my heart in a very gentle voice. Sabi niya, okay, so things will be darker, things will be harder, saka kukuha ng lakas, saka kukuha ng guidance. So at that time, I was really hurting and I was telling, I want to run to you, but you walked out on me. I felt that the Lord walked out on me when I was begging Him. But sabi ko sa Kanya, but I have nowhere to run to. I don't want to go to the enemy because I know his character. He doesn't love me. So sa'yo na lang ulit. Sabi ko, ganito na lang Lord. Things will be harder. It's so dark. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to pick the pieces of myself. I'm so shattered. Samahan mo na lang ako. Palakasin mo na lang ako. Hindi ko alam saan ako magsisimula. But let's start from here. Sa'yo pa rin ako tatakbo. So that was my prayer. Sabi ko, Lord, just hold my hand. Hindi ko alam, sobrang dilim. Samahan mo na lang ako.
Wow. And we're so glad, ako personally, no, I'm so glad na your prayer changed from anger to total kapit sa Panginoon dahil nga I cannot even imagine kung gaano kadilim yung tunnel na dinaanan mo. So thank you for sharing that. Tess, how about you? What was your petition to God nung na-diagnose, kailangan i-blood transfusion, nagkaroon ng tumor ulit sa intestine. What was your then petition to God? Were you parang, ano ba naman, Lord? Ganun ka ba? Nagsuserve kami. Bakit mo pinayagan to? Were you like that? And then, did it transition also to total reliance on God?
At first, yun talaga yung ano ko, sinabi ko kay Lord, Lord, bakit mo naman nangyari sa amin to? No, why did it happen to us? And we are your servants. Sabi ko nga ganun sa kanya. And my prayer is really pleading to God. And I remember that that time when I was in the hospital, may tinawagan akong kadi group ano namin, the group members or kadi group namin. Sabi ko, pray for me kasi hindi ko na alam yung gagawin ko. Kasi that time, parang ayoko na lang may kausap or anything that, basta I want to be alone and I want to be with God alone. So, I rallied him. Sabi ko, Lord, hindi naman pwedeng wife lang yung sa team in a family ministry. Kailangan ko yung husband ko and I cannot live without my husband in the ministry. Talagang I pleaded to God. Sabi kong gano'n sa kanya, if you will take Ron, just take me also. And bahala ka na sa mga anak ko. Kasi he's the one who is talagang I cannot live without my husband dun sa tabi ko, no? Kasi every time I want something, Dad, please help me with this. And andun siya palagi for me, no? And he's really my best friend. And sabi ko, Lord, if you will take my husband, don't take him away pa ngayon, no, Lord. So much to do. Marami pa kaming gagawin in the church. Talagang sinabi ko yun kay Lord. And that time, hindi ko talaga siya sinurrender. That time, sabi ko, Lord, hindi ko isusurrender yung husband ko. Yung that moment that I pleaded with the Lord, yun yung prayer ko na hindi ko siya isusurrender kasi I know naging matigas yung ulo ko din that time eh. And it really breaks my heart when I see my husband lying on the bed na parang sabi ko hindi ko na siya hindi ko na matagalan yung nakikita ko siyang lying in the bed, may NGT dito, maraming mga equipment na nakalagay dun sa body niya. So parang sabi ko, Lord, ganito ba? Ang dami kong questions, marami akong tinatanong kay Lord, bakit ganito yung nangyari in our family, no? We are serving you. Kami yung servant mo is willing to give our lives to you, Lord. Ganun na rin yung mga prayer ko sa kanya. So, and at the end of the day, sinurrender ko na rin lahat kasi hindi ka naman mananalo kay Lord eh, kung ano yung plan niya for you. Ayun po.
Ano, no, pareho kayo ni Bing at the end. In the beginning, meron kayong, syempre, linabas nyo yung sama ng loob nyo. And we also all no, noticed na God can take it. God can take yung sama ng loob natin because He is God. And we're just so happy na sobrang patient ng God sa atin tsaka He understands no, what we're going through. Kaya tumatahimik lang siya eh, parang letting us, say whatever we want to say. Also, no, napansin ko na you called for help, Tess. It's really good to call for help for people to pray for us. Hindi naman yun ibig sabihin, hindi ka na spiritual eh, di ba? When you ask for help. It's kaya nga we are put in a church eh, so that we can help
Yeah.
each other. So
And
thank
Shiki,
you, Tess.
you
Yeah,
know, when we ask others to pray and more than just gathering people to pray, of course, that's God's call for us also not to come together in prayer. But more than just the number of people praying, it's how God is glorified through everyone who's praying, right?
yeah,
And that's what we see in the honest, heartfelt confession of each one while praying. It's not about saying the right words or the script supposedly. Ano ba dapat sinasabi pag ganito? Hindi ganun eh. It's really what's in your
yeah,
heart. Listen what. When you involve others see also how the Lord works, di ba? How He changed tayo. Nakita natin ngayon how He changed the heart of Bing, Tess, and we will hear from Ro later na ito yung journey ng prayer, how the Lord changes our hearts when we pray. So yeah, sometimes you
yeah,
wanna change God's mind, but ang nangyayari, yung heart talaga natin yung nag-change. Kasi
yeah.
the Lord
Good.
already knows, diba? So He's working in our heart as we pray, which is something
Oo.
that we often overlook. Kasi pag prayer, may hinihingi tayo eh. May gusto tayong makita. Little do we know na yung heart natin, binabago ni Lord para makita yung ginagawa niya. So,
Yeah.
Jo, ikaw, what was your um, heartfelt prayer?
Ayun, ang prayer ko that time is pagalingin si Caleb. Kasi alam ko naman as God is a healer. And then, we are hoping talaga that time na gagaling siya kasi, may mga plan na yung doctor kung ano yung mga kailangang i-prepare sa gamutan. So, yung mga tao na kumbaga sineset na namin yung mga magdo-donate ng blood kasi kailangan niya ng platelet. So, may planning na dun sa that time. Pero hindi gano'n yung nangyari. Parang in 10 days time lang sa hospital, ah, nag-pass away na si Caleb. So, and then yung prayer ko rin kasi doon that moment parang use us kami ni Caleb sa church. So, yun.
If you
So,
don't mind, Brother Joe, ilang
yes,
taon ho si Caleb when the Lord took him home?
11 years old siya. 12 na siya sana ngayon.
Ah, okay,
Yun.
thank you.
Um,
Riva?
yes, sobrang hirap, no? And I have no words really, just tears. Because, not just the loss of Caleb mismo, but grieving so many things also for Joel, like the plans they had, the dreams they had together as a family, and often, of course, yung yung mga ganun hindi natin nakikita. The consequences of the loss, 'di ba? Hindi lang naman yung tao yung nawala, maraming bagay pa kasama nung loss, no? And that's something we would like to know more about. And how was it yung journey nyo after the loss? Kasi nga yung physical presence ni Caleb, syempre, and ni Mon, wala na. Hindi na natin mababalik yon. Pero marami pang ibang ginigrieve, no? The loss of just having them there, the things you wanted to do together. And of course, in your heart, no? Lord, gusto pa namin mag-serve sa'yo. Gusto pa namin magamit mo kami. Pero talagang iba yung plan si God. So how is it for you, Jo and Bing, ngayon na yung sa grieving journey nyo, ano yung mga nagbago sa heart nyo? Siyempre, maraming nabago for sure, pero what would you like to share na would encourage our viewers also? Sige, let's go for Jo muna. Nakamute, Jo.
Yung sa daily routine talaga namin, maraming nabago kasi sa kanila talaga umiikot yung araw ko. Sa school ni Caleb, monitoring, and usually kami magkalaro sa Xbox. So ang daming adjustment. Ang pinakamahirap sa akin is yung daily, yung sa food preparation kasi matakaw si Caleb, eh. So yung food talaga ang ano niya, weakness niya. So ang hirap gumalaw. So ang daming adjustment na kailangan mong gawin. Nung una kasi parang parang alam mo, dahil lalaki ako, parang strong, hindi ako emotional. So parang mas worried ako para sa wife ko. Pero iba pala pagka nandiyan na. So yun, may times na hindi talaga ako nagluluto. Parang ilang months akong hindi nagluto nun kasi na alam mo na kulang yung yung ire-ready mo. So, order lang kami, parang outside or kain sa labas. So, hindi siya gano'n, parang na ang hirap. Pero yun nga, kakapit ka talaga sa kay God kasi siya yung magko-comfort sa'yo, eh. And plus, sa'kin din nakasandal yung wife ko na hindi ako puwedeng maging, weak kasi may isa pa kaming anak na kailangan naming i-support, alam mo yun? So, kay God talaga. So, babalik talaga ako sa mga natutunan sa God's word, yun. Wala ka namang matatakbuhan, sabi nga ni Ate Bing, kay God pa rin talaga, iyon.
Yes. And Jo, the weakness that we go through, ikaw, alam kong, sabi mo nga as a man, no, dapat ikaw yung failure. It's also good na sinabi mo nga, sabay kayong kakapit ng wife mo kay God. Kasi lahat tayo magbe-breakdown one way or another. Hindi natin talaga kakayanin. And it's really only the Lord who can sustain you. So to encourage our viewers also, weakness, being weak, no, acknowledging our weakness before the Lord is okay because He is our strength. And I know that it's natural for us to not want to look weak, especially when we're always the ones leading the family, leading people. It is a time to be vulnerable, and that's where people also see God's hand, no? Totoong naglalament tayo, totoo may pinagdadaanan, pero kumakapit sa Panginoon. So, thank you, Jo, for being very talagang transparent, no, yung sa emotions mo. Alam mo, hirap talagang i-express, but I appreciate it so much. How about for you, Bing?
Yung kasing syempre, yung pagkamatay ng asawa or ng isang loved one, big loss yun. Pero meron tayong tinatawag na secondary losses. Like, for me, ang laki ng nawala kasi syempre, after losing a husband, I lost a big breadwinner. I lost my best friend. My son lost the gym buddy. My daughter lost a date kasi lagi silang nagde-date. Tapos maraming losses talaga. Tapos I also lost my sense of identity kasi syempre I'm known to be Pastor Mon's wife. So parang dati nasa leadership ka, bigla kang nawala, biglang back to a regular member. Tapos gusto-gusto mo mag-serve, kaso wala kang paglagyan. Then I have to leave my couples D group, yung aming, of which si Jo is one of the members. So hindi ko alam kung saan lalagay yung sarili ko. And then bigla kang married, bigla ka ngayong single mom, naging widow ka na, and then dahil wala ng breadwinner, ikaw na ngayon yung breadwinner bigla. Then you really have to work hard for the family. And then, like si Jo, sabi niya, lalaki siya, kailangan matibay. Ako naman, ako yung nanay. So, kahit vulnerable, I have to be strong for my children. So, ang daming mga pagbabago. Like, one time, I was doing the groceries, yung likod ng SUV namin mataas. So, hindi ko masara. So, lalo na ako sa parking lot, siguro kami makakakita, nakakatawa. Kasi tumatalon ako para abutin. But I was crying kasi sabi ko, so ito na yung new normal ko. Natatalon ako kasi nobody will shut the door for me. Kasi maliit ako matangkad yung asawa ko. So sabi ko, it's very hard to adjust to the new normal. Tapos I remember one time nagda-drive ako, nakita ko lang yung red light. I was driving and then I realized I was the one on the driver's seat. Dati yung asawa ko was driving for me. So pag green light na gano'n, habang green light na gano'n, umiiyak ako. I was really wailing already. So sabi ko, ito yung mga new normal na kailangan kong tanggapin, lunukin. Kasi kailangan ito na yun. Wala nang magbabago. Ito na yung bagong normal. So, ito na kami talaga. So, we have to really adjust dun sa mga bagong pagbabago.
Yes, Beng, ang daming adjustments. I'm sure kulang yung oras ngayon para sabihin lahat ng adjustments, but we know just by what you've shared, ang laking impact. Sabi mo nga, the primary, the secondary, the tertiary, ang daming losses, no? And nadidiscover pa yun over time. Hindi naman one-time event lang. And I'm sure up to now, you're seeing that, sabi mo nga, in your daily life. At it's so painful. At the same time, we know the Lord is with you in this recovery period. So how has the Lord helped you being no and even draw sa itong faith stretching time of your life? I know usually yung goal pag may ganitong situation is to recover, but hindi naman necessarily to get over no the loss, but yung just going through this journey without Mon for Bing and si Jo, wala si Caleb, how did you cope or how are you coping right now? What kind of recovery is God, walking you through with? Sige, Bing.
So, okay, first of all, the Lord surrounded me with heaps of people. Heaps talaga, as in punong-puno. People who loved me and supported me and my children. My family immediately rushed to my side. Kahit yung mga nasa Amerika, tawag dito, ganyan, send support. And then yung mga upline and downline D group namin, yung discipleship group, were there. Yung members of the church were really showering us with love and prayers. And then I have a very dear friend who sponsored me to a grief recovery program. And I've learned a lot from that program.
Bing, what was that grief recovery program? Just to ask, kasi baka some of our listeners want
Okay,
to.
it's a 13-week program wherein you will enroll and then you will just buy the workbook. But it's for life. Pagka nag-sign up ka doon, you can always go back. And then they will give you access to the video for the 13 weeks. And then once a week, you will meet with the breakout group. So there I was able to find a new family na lahat kami nagkakaintindihan. All of us lost a loved one. And then nakikita mo that you understand each other. Hindi naman kontesto ng pain kung sino mas kawawa na sa nangyari. It's just that when you say, I feel you, they really feel you because they are also undergoing the same loss that you are in right now. So, I found a new family there. Kasi parang sabi ko nga, ang mahal maging member dun sa grupo na yan because you have to lose a loved one. Pero ang maganda kasi, napakabuti ng Lord. Kasi merong ganong grupo to help you hindi man get over, go through the
Good.
journey with grief. Kaya si Jo, in-invite ko din siya dun.
Yun. Thank you for sharing, Bing. I'm sure this will be a helpful resource then to others. So, Jo, how is for you naman that grief recovery program, and how else, has the Lord been journeying with you?
Ayun. Ako kasi medyo introvert ako eh. So yung emotion or feelings na nararamdaman ko, hindi ko yan basta sinasabi kahit nga sa wife ko. Parang sa akin lang talaga siya. But during itong sa recovery program, especially yung feelings ko about God kasi ang understanding ko before kapag nagsasabi ka ng something kay God, parang ang baba naman ng faith mo, parang gano'n. At bilang Kristiyano kasi 'di ba, parang 'pag kino-question mo si God, parang ang baba naman ng faith mo. 'Yun yung understanding ko. Pero during this, recovery program, ah, naano ko na okey palang maging honest kay God. 'Pag kung ano talaga yung tunay mong nararamdaman, ano yung nasa loob mo at that moment, puwede mo siyang i-lament kay God. Kasi parang you are on the right, ah people o person na inihinga mo yung sama ng loob mo. So yun yung ano ko, kaya naging open ako kay God kung ano yung nararamdaman ko, kung bakit nangyayari sa'min 'to, anong purpose mo, and plus is meron kasi kaming hina-handle na D group. During that time, parang, tinuloy pa rin namin to share kung ano yung ma-share namin yung experience namin dun sa D group namin. Ah, para alam mo yon yung during this time, parang during this storm, at least makita nung member namin na yung ano yung puwede nilang makuha. Isa yun sa mga naging, pinanghawakan din namin. Ayun.
Yes.
Alam mo, ang ganda pakinggan, no, na you said na pwede ka huminga sa Panginoon. Ang ganda ng term na yon kasi pag hindi mo na kaya, saan ka pupunta? Di ba? Kasi syempre gusto mo, hindi mo ipakita sa loved ones mo kasi they need strength. So pag bumiyak ka, paano na sila? Di bibiyak din sila. So ang
Mm.
ganda no na we can always run to God para makahinga tayo. Ang ganda-ganda nun. So thank you for saying that. Uh, how about you, Tess? Ano yung, ikaw naman, ano yung faith stretching experience mo with God? What did you do then? Tapos, what are you doing now to cope with your husband's health issues?
For me 'no, kasi, um, I'm reliant lang talaga with the word of the Lord and prayers 'no. And of course dun sa D group ko talaga, dun ako nagsasabi nung kung ano yung nasa heart ko, kung ano yung feeling ko for now, kung ano yung, ah, in the daily life ng aming family. So, I express that to my D groups 'no. So, napakahalaga talaga nung meron kang D group 'no. So, dun ko talaga in-express yung kung ano yung nararanasan namin in a daily basis ng buhay namin. And yung kasi sa experience namin after dun sa mga nangyari sa amin in the past, dun sa asawa ko, na hospital, kasi nagkaroon siya ng ano eh, parang ilang confinement ba yun? Parang seven in and out kami sa hospital, no? So, yun lang yung nagpalakas for me when I'm praying to the Lord. And I remember one time no when my husband reattended no, so nag-gain na yung strength niya, so malakas na siya, so nag-attend na siya ng church again no. So for the first time when he see one of the intercessors in the church, no, kinumusta siya, sabi niya, "How are you, Brother Ron?" So sabi niya, um, "Thank you for for your prayers." Sabi ng husband ko, "Really, the mountains move." Sabi niya gano'n. So I feel the same. Ibig sabihin, because prayers can move mountains. So yun yung talagang we dwell it on the Lord's goodness in His Word every day. Yun yung nagpalakas talaga sa amin. Personally, sa akin when I was in the hospital, talagang every day I read His Word. And tinatanong ko si Lord, what's your plan? And ano po yung gagawin namin in yung next step nung hospitalization. So I'm inquiring with the Lord for His perfect plan kung ano yung mangyayari in the next yung journey na. Kasi after the hospitalization, may chemotherapy pa kami eh. So, hindi pa tapos dun eh. So, my husband need to undergo the treatments. Oo. So, yung talagang, ngayon lang siya naging naging okay. Tapos, he's continuing his chemotherapy and is responding well, no? So, yung sabi ng oncologist niya is very happy of his progress right now, no? So, the only negative effects of the chemo is that in the first few days, kay Ron kasi ang nangyayari lang is he will sleep a lot and he would feel tired. So, other than that, nothing else, no? He never had hair loss. Hindi naman siya, hindi siya nawala ng buhok. Never lost his appetite as well. Magana pa rin siyang kumain. Nagtataka nga kami. And he has now gained 20 plus pounds na, no? So, sabi ko, he continues to get stronger daily. And by God's grace, he will be resuming his work soon as work from home. And that's one thing our praise report nga. Pinayagan siya ng company na mag-work from home. Out of the 800 employees, so yung request namin parang hindi yata possible, Lord, yun. So, kasi kailangan na eh, no? We are depleted, wala na kaming funds, no? Kailangan na niyang mag-work. So, Lord, paano eh? Nag-journey pa to dun sa cancer niya, no? Nagkikimo. So, paano namin papagsabay-sabayin yung gasto sa bahay? As well, meron pa kaming 2 kids na nag-aaral. Yung isa in first year, yung isa grade 9. So sabi ko, paano kami magtutuition kung wala siyang work, Lord? Pero all things are possible with the Lord kasi nag-grant yung petition namin na mag-work from home siya. So, inallow ng management. And talagang ma-amaze ka in the work of the Lord kasi for how many years na siyang walang work? It has been 1 year and months. Wala siyang work. So, hindi namin alam kung i-retire na ba siya ng company, medical retirement ba, or kung anong gagawin sa kanya. But still, the Lord is really, very, very gracious, very compassionate, and He allows Ron to work from home. And yun yung aming naging talaga, pasasalamat sa Panginoon.
Yeah. Galing ng God, no? He answered your prayer na allowed your husband to work from home. Malaking bagay yun, because mahal magka-cancer kasi ang mahal ng treatment, right? Treatments and procedures. So, now that your husband is going through chemo, going through pa ba siya? Ilang sessions ba?
For now kasi, he's been, naka-undergo na siya ng 7 cycles, no? Ngayon, yung prognosis kasi sa kanya is, sabi ng onco is guarded. So, maganda naman yung prognosis. Yung tumor markers niya, that's a CEA eh, yung sa colon cancer. So, before, 278, ngayon down to 19 na lang. 19. Yun, 19 na lang siya. So,
normal?
Ang normal kasi 3 eh. 3. At least 3.
Oo. Okay. Ang laki na nung binaba.
Ang laki na nung binaba talaga. So ngayon, ang ano nga namin sa kanya is yung prognosis sa kanya is ngayon CT scan after the 7 sessions para malaman kung ilang chemotherapy na lang yung kailangang i-administer sa kanya. Ayun.
Okay. Oo.
Yun.
Alright. So, meron ba akong follow-up question? But I just want to remind everybody, if you have any questions, so para sa ating mga guests, please type them in the chat box o kaya sa chat box ng YouTube, ng Facebook, and then we will ask the questions for you. Just keep them short para magkasya ho siya sa screen. Okay? So, we will move on to our question and answer portion so you guys can send in your questions. And while we're waiting for you guys to type in your questions, may follow-up lang kay Tess. Tess, so your husband, maganda na yung prognosis from 278, 19 na lang. So, pababa na ng pababa yan. But my question is, meron ka bang fear of the future? Parang natatakot ka ba na, what if, yung mga ganyan. Meron ka bang ganon? And kung meron, ano ginagawa mo para tumigil yung mga boses na nagsasabing, hala ka, paano kung, yan, what do you do?
Oo. Meron talaga akong fear. Fears na talagang baka mamaya mag-recur ulit yung cancer. So, ang fear ko pa, every day na naiisip ko baka mamaya hindi tumuloy yung pagbaba nung tumor markers niya, no? Pero I just surrendered it all to God, no? So I pray na ang prayer ko rin is we don't have to go through that ordeal again, no? So even if the Lord chooses, we know that the Lord is with us naman. So pero talagang minsan nag-struggle ako for that. Baka mamaya sabihin ko, naku, ito na naman, baka bumalik na naman kasi meron siyang metastasis sa liver actually. So, he's now on stage 4, no? So, meron siya sa lungs, pero yung sa lungs na-rule out na, parang past inflammatory na lang yon. Dun sa liver niya ngayon, kasi nakakapako yun, ang laki talaga, nagbabulge talaga yung right side, nakakapamo siya. And meron siyang metastasis in the node dito sa may right, basta dito, so may nodular, dyan. So, pag kinakapa ako, so sinusukat pa kasi ng on ko talaga yun kung anong size na eh. So, that time parang ang laki. So, after the series of chemotherapy, ngayon, hindi na namin siya makapa. And then the doctor nga, yung on ko niya is very happy nga to report na he's been recuperating for that cancer nga. And it keeps my heart in check to always be reliant sa Panginoon. And balik tayo doon sa liver niya, merong nagbabulge dito na makakapamo talaga na ang tigas-tigas. Sabi ko, Lord, paano yan? Sabi ko, so, pero talaga I diligently pray to God na He will be working on it. So, after the series nga, hindi na namin siya nakakapa. So, hopefully, ngayon, pag CT scan niya, so, wala nang makita kasi nag-rely kami doon sa tumor markers niya. So, sabi ko siguro mga 2 chemotherapies na lang. Yun.
Oo.
Ayun.
Sabi nga sa Bible, di ba? If you get scared, you pray. Tapos you pray even more when things become difficult. Parang ginawa ni Jesus, di ba? Garden of Gethsemane, He prayed even more. Okay. Bing, tanong ko lang sa iyo, while you were busy, ayan na, finifix mo na yung funeral arrangements, meron ka bang na-experience na dagdag doon sa difficult situation mo na, you've lost your other half, ang sakit-sakit na nun, pero meron pa bang ibang mga nangyari na dumagdag sa hirap nung sitwasyon mo?
Yeah, ito yung unforgettable experience ko. Kasi Mom died on a Sunday, tapos Monday. I just learned it later na kasi after Mom's cremation, I went to the bank, I brought the death certificate to report and to check kung ano yung pwedeng gawin. But I was surprised, pag tingin ko dun sa signature card, may nakatatak na siyang deceased. Sabi ko, wait, hindi pa ako nagsasubmit ng documents. Bakit deceased na kagad yung Tsaka bakit parang na-facilitate na
Nag-post
yung...
ka ba?
Sabi ko, ba't parang na-facilitate na yung papeles ko, yung account ko. So I later found out that merong bank law yata na, I just don't know kung sa bank lang nila or is it a universal law, na pagka nalaman mo yung demise ng iyong depositor, you should freeze the account. So I went home without a penny. As in, wala ako na withdraw. Tapos, but instead, they gave me a long list to accomplish. So it took me 1.5 years to withdraw my account. Kasi during that time, my daughter was a minor. That time, she was only 17. I have to secure pa daw this heirs bond. Pero sabi
Oh.
nila, pwede naman kung mag-18 na siya. So I really waited. Pero hindi ko alam na aabutin pala talaga ng ganito kahaba. Kasi prior to submitting the documents pa, I have to secure the extrajudicial settlement. Yun ang sobrang haba, which I will discuss later. Kasi yung extrajudicial settlement, kailangan yun para ma-submit sa bank. Bago ka magawa yun, pupunta ka sa estate lawyer, magsasubmit ka ng mga PSA documents, lahat ng birth certificate ng heirs, pati yung death and birth certificate ng deceased, plus marriage certificate nyo, and then lahat ng, kung may mga iba ka pang properties, lahat ng mga certified true copies nun, and then i-forward mo yun sa lawyer bago mo pa ayusin sa BIR. Tapos, ang tagal maghintay sa BIR. So, bago lumabas yung papeles, I submitted in June. Lumabas siya tayo papeles parang January. Ang tagal. So, ang daming So, in short, wala kami na-withdraw. But good thing is, my husband has an insurance. So, yon after 3 weeks na maklaim namin, nakuha namin agad. And then, yun na nagbigay sa amin ng buffer while waiting for the other claims to be finished.
Yes.
Grabe. Paano nalaman ng bangko na demise na? Kasi nagulat ka, di ba? Pagdating mo doon, may nakastamp na.
Okay, one wrong thing huwag niyong gagawin. Huwag niyong gagawin kaibigan sa Facebook yung bank manager.
At huwag magpo-post muna.
Hindi kasi, siyempre di ba, when we were praying for Mon, ang dami nagpo-post, let's pray for Pastor Mon, blah, blah, blah. And then, nung namatay din siya, ang dami din siyempre nag-post. Hindi nga kami nagpo-post eh. So, talagang, it was a public knowledge kasi nga sabi niya, public figure daw yung husband. So, hirap.
Mahirap
So,
pag public figure.
Yeah.
Kailangan
Teka, so,
private.
ano yung dapat gawin para paghandaan ito? Like, kasi when you were mentioning EJS, kailangan mo ng lawyer, tapos sa BIR, ang parang ngayon palang nahilo na ako. Pero ano yung mga dapat mong gawin para paghandaan to so that if something happens, you'll be prepared?
In
Anong
hindsight,
practical?
Bing. Kasi syempre Bing went through it the hard way, diba? So now
Yeah.
let's learn from Bing because the Lord wants us to be always ready.
Okay,
So,
disclaimer lang po. Disclaimer, hindi po ako nagbebenta dito, pero you consider it. First thing is, if one really loves his family, kailangan kumuha ka talaga ng insurance. Kasi yung insurance ni Mon, nakuha namin after 3 weeks. At dun sa proceed niya, isipin niyo, gumastos ako siguro ng almost 7,000 para lang sa mga PSA certificates, yung birth certificate. Kasi ilan kami? 4 kami. Plus meron pa akong isasabit sa pag-ibig na tinatawag nila advisory on marriage. Na lahat original kasi magki-claim ko sa SS, sa pag-ibig, isasubmit mo yung sa loan pa ng bahay namin. Lahat yun original. During that time, pandemic, 340 pesos isang kopya. So, ilan kami? Kunyari, my son, magpo-produce ako ng 5 birth certificate niya. My daughter, ako, marriage contract namin. So, talaga, tapos during that time, babiyahe-biyahe ka pa, ganyan. So, pag po wala kayong insurance, wala kayong pondong pagkukunan kung saan nyo gagastusin yung mga papeles na kailangan nyo i-submit. Plus, ang mahal na extrajudicial settlement. Kasi magpapapublish ka, let's say 3,000. Extrajudicial settlement, sabihin mo 6 to 10,000. Tapos ako na yung naglakad ng papeles ko kasi para pag magpapalakad ka sa iba, 20,000.
Extra.
So, kung wala kang funds, kahit gusto mong asikasuhin lahat, may hirapan. Plus, take note, extrajudicial settlement should be settled on the first 12 months after the demise of the owner. Otherwise, you are going to pay monthly penalty sa BIR. So kung marami po kayong ari-arian, let's say above 10 million ang inyong properties, isipin mo yung, hindi ko alam kung 6%, depende pa sa dami ng property. Magbabayad ka monthly ng penalty. Kasi it happened to my dad. My dad died when I was 15. Siyempre, malay ko. Tapos, we bought our house, yung pag-ari ng parents ko. Nung ano na ako married, siguro that was 15 years ago. We paid 80,000 sa penalty pa lang. Mura pa lang yung bahay ng parents ko that time. So ngayon, kung mas marami po kayong properties, asikasuhin nyo na po lahat. Kasi kahit sabihin yung ipapamana nyo, meron din kayo inheritance tax. Ibenta nyo sa anak nyo, meron din kayong yung capital gains tax. So, better, ako magsasabi sa inyo, the more properties that you have, the more insurance you should get. Kasi sa estate planning, kailangan nyo. Kasi kailangan nyo ng pera para ayusin nyo. And then yun nga po, kailangan mag-list kayo, gawa kayo ng notebook. I-list nyo yung mga important details like bank accounts, password, sinong tao yung pupuntahan, ito yung policy number ko, ito yung taong tatawagan. Lahat po, ito yung plate number ito yung rehistro ng kotse. I put all those in an accordion envelope. And then lahat ng mga birth certificate nakalagay sa isang envelope. Nakaayos lahat yan. Tapos, kailangan meron kayo laging certified true copy yung property, yung title man, and then always seek the advice of a trusted lawyer. Dapat meron kayong lawyer na tatawagan. Iniligay ko rin yung pangalan ng lawyer na naging kaibigan na namin para just in case something happens to me. And then meron akong sabi ng isang bank manager, advice lang niya. For example, meron akong account with kasi ngayon gumawa ako ng joint account with my children. So, ang sabi nila, better, kunyari sa isang bank number 1, tell your children to open a separate bank account on bank number 2, pangalan lang nila. And then enroll both in an online banking. And if something happens to you, transfer all the funds to their separate account. Sabing ganon. Pero syempre, yung online banking po is 100,000 lang yan every day. So, for example, nag-withdraw siya ng 9 p.m. 12:01, pwede niya na ulit withdrawin. Or yun nga, mas maganda. Sabi nila, mas maganda yun. Sa tulad naman namin, wala naman kami withdrawing marami.
Kasi nga, di ba, na-freeze kaya magandang, magandang advice na pwedeng fund transfer na lang. Okay.
Yeah, and also you gather all the IDs of the deceased and gather all your valid IDs. I-photocopy nyo na together and then always keep a copy na magkakasama yung IDs ng heirs and then one by one and then lahat may signature. Kasi gagastos din kayo sa photocopy, pabalik-balik kayo. Yun ang mahirap, yung mag-asikaso ng claims. And then don't forget also to claim your SSS, pag-ibig benefits, GSIS. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yun.
Kailangan ng listahan for this. Actually, what Bing mentioned is so important. Of course, it's not just physical assets, but there are a lot of other things, diba? Emotional, mental, spiritual. But all of these are important. And I want to encourage everyone. Well, in Tess's case, of course, there's a diagnosis for her husband, yung being very sudden, and Jo also had a very short time. But I think regardless if you have sickness or not, you should prepare all these, like what Bing is saying. Pag sobrang exhausted ka na, wala ka ng energy mag-ayos nito. So while you have good health, which is what everyone prays for, use this time to prepare. Kasi ang hirap ng sinasabi ni Bing, just organizing everything, it takes work, time, hindi yan one day, uupo ka lang, it's really several days and even weeks to prepare it. So one of the most loving things we can do for our family is to prepare them, not just with insurance or other financial plans, but even things at home. And sabi nga ni Tess, how do I live without my husband? Parang it's so diba? Impossible in your head. He's been with you, in your marriage, and partners talaga kayo. So it's not so much that you want to train the other person how to live without you, but it's more of instructing them then. Kasi ang dami talagang nalolost after that. Di ba? And that's what Bing is all seeing. So the administrative side, the emotional, the relational, the spiritual,
Yeah.
mental,
Grabe nga.
and much more.
Yeah, grabe nga Bing kanina nung sinabi mo about the PSA birth certificates, nag-compute ako agad Kung 5 yung kailangan mo grabe dun sa 3 kayo, nag 5,100 PSA pa lang yun. So that's maano talaga, mahirap.
Yes.
Pero like
Wala pa
what
yung
Riva said,
babayaran, Katie. Yes. Oo. Well, hindi,
oh,
yun pa lang yung photocopy lang. Wala, true copy pa lang yan. Wala pa yung
yeah.
actual penalties,
Oo.
payments. Yeah.
Okay, so ito nga no, thank you for those practical tips. Sana ho nag-take down kayo ng notes. Kung hindi, tanong nyo si Riva. Kung ano sinabi ni Bing. Okay. Ito, question, Bing, at saka para kay Jo. Meron kayong minention kanina, di ba? Recovery program. So, based on the recovery program na inattendan nyo, Jo, nag-attend ka rin, right? Tama ba? No, okay. Nung nag-attend kayo nun, ano yung greatest takeaway lesson ninyo na nakuha nyo from that recovery program that helped you in your day-to-day survival? Kasi syempre, nandyan pa rin yung hurt, nandyan pa rin yung unbelievable, di ba? Sometimes it comes back. So, ano yung greatest takeaway ninyo sa recovery program that has helped you? Jo, ikaw first.
Ayun, sa akin nga yung ano, yung mag-lament kay God. Kasi yung daily talaga struggle yan Parang yung pain, heartache, paulit-ulit yan araw-araw. So, yung pag-lament kay God na parang I can ask question talaga. Ang una-una ko talaga tinanong kay God that time is, bakit kami? Ang dami namang ibang pamilya diyan na may anak na hindi inaasikaso, parang pinapabayaan lang. Pero bakit kami na parang, concerned sa mga anak namin and pinaplano talaga namin yung future nila, pero bakit sa amin nangyari 'to? So yung mga gano'ng questioning kay God is I can ask now because of this, recovery program. Kasi before parang kapag kino-question mo si God, for me parang yun nga, parang mababa yung faith ko, parang mababa tiwala ko kay God na parang, "Ang tagal mo ng Kristiyano bakit ganyan pa yung mga tanong mo?" So, but during this recovery program parang okey pala na i-direct mo kay God kung ano yung nararamdaman mo and then later on ma-realize mo na, "Oh God, I surrender all these things to you even if hindi ko alam kung anong plano mo, but, ah" direct us, yun nga meron akong prayer before parang last year. Ang prayer ko that time is kay God is give me the courage na overcome yung trials na or storm na naramdaman namin this time. Tapos teach me, to see the challenges according dun sa perspective ni God and, heal my heart kung ano yung purpose niya. Kumbaga direct me kung ano yung kailangan kong gawin according to God's purpose. So, yun yung mga, ah, ah, key takes away ko during this, recovery program talaga. Kay God talaga, diretso na, yun.
Thank you, Jo. It's such a healthy lament. Just for everyone to know, it's okay to lament. Meron ngang book sa
Yeah,
Bible, Lamentations, di ba?
yeah,
The healthy lament is the honest lament to God, being so authentic. And the Lord knows our hearts, di ba? So sabi nga ni Jo, minsan nahihiya siya, I've been walking with God, pero ba't ganito yung heart ko? And those thoughts usually limit us from being very open about what we're going through. But I want to encourage you, just like what Jo said, wala yan sa number of years being a Christian or if you have enough faith. That's not the issue here. It's really the Lord wants to meet you where you are, wherever you are in your journey. The Lord knows that. So hindi tayo dapat mahiya sa Kanya. Dahil alam na niya yon. Yung sasabihin natin, alam na niya. It's just a matter of us expressing it to Him. Dahil mahal natin siya, gusto natin maging mas malalim yung relationship with Him. So, ayun, ang dami pa nating questions from our audience. So, but we want to also learn from Bing, yung Joseph Principle dito. Ano nga ba yung Joseph Principle na to? Can you tell us more about it? It's from also the program that you went through. Bing?
Yung Joseph principle kasi is, diba, is parang finding treasures in adversities. Actually, iba lang yung title niya pero mahaba yun eh. Pero ito yung pinakang take home ko doon. Finding treasures in your adversities. So after the grief recovery program, actually, first session pa lang ng grief recovery program, pinrotect na ako ni Lord because God knows I'm a very emotional person. Sa ang unang nag-liberate sa akin was, I've learned that grief has no timetable. Tayo kasi mga Pilipino, usually after 40 days, pag magbabanglok sa after 1 year, people would expect you to be cheerful, tapos balik ka sa dati. Pero I've learned that grief has no timetable. And it depends on the depth of your love for the departed, yung love mo sa departed loved one. And then, I also have learned that when you're at the height of your emotion, you should avoid committing these 5 mistakes. Pakinggan niyo ho itong mabuti. Kasi baka, hindi lang to sa loss ha. Let's say, marami kang mga, let's say, windang na windang ka ngayon. Number 1 is selling your house. Sabi kasi nandun yung memory, ayoko siyang makita. Yan. And then quitting your job kasi hindi ka makafunction kasi emotional ka. So mag-quit ka na lang ng job. E di malungkot ka na, wala ka pang pera. Ito pa, entering into a new relationship. Minsan yan na nagiging fault ng mga widow. Pasok sa relationship, hindi naman niya na-recognize, grieving pa siya. Kawawa din yung mga bata, di ba? Affected ang buong pamilya. And then, yung mag-splurge sa shopping. Kaskas ng credit card dito, kaskas ng yan. Wala ka na, malungkot ka na nga, puro utang ka pa. So, mahirap din po yun. And then, ito yung worst, getting into vices. Wala po talaga may tutulong yan sa inyo. And then also, I have learned to communicate with my comforters and express my emotions appropriately. Normally kasi, yung mga taong emotional, minsan ginagawa din nilang parang excuse na emotional ako, grieving ako, so kailangan babyhin niyo ako. You have to express your emotions appropriately. Okay? It doesn't give you the right to be rude. Okay? And then, don't numb your pain. You don't run from it. You have to go through. The only way is to get through. Kaya di ba sabi, sabi din sa Psalm 23, even though I walk through the shadow of death, you walk through. You cannot go around it. You cannot go over it. Talagang kasama po yan. And then yun, isang pinakamaganda kong natutunan after the program is yung sinabi ni Dr. David Paul Tripp, I am not supposed to be just a container of comfort, but rather I should be a conduit of comfort. Yun po.
Amen. Wow. Ang
Ang
ganda.
ganda. I'll just
Thank you.
repeat. So yung 5
Yes.
things to prevent from doing. Don't sell your house. Don't enter into a new relationship. Huwag ka mag-shopping spree, lalo na gamit mo ang credit card. Don't do vices, smoking, drinking, bars, gambling.
Don't quit your job.
Don't
Don't
quit
quit.
your job.
Yes.
Yes.
Ay,
Communicate appropriately.
yes. Ang
Yeah.
sinabi ni Ben, I just wanna put it in context din. Siyempre kung nasa will ng namatay na i-sell yung house, isi-sell. Pero yung sinasabi lang ni Bing, don't be impulsive na, 'di ba, hindi nag-iisip, biglaan na lang na okay. So,
Correct.
I'm saying lang kung nasabi naman po 'yon sa will, at yun yung gusto ng deceased or napag-usapan, okay lang din. But the rest, of course,
Yeah.
the vices, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we don't want to turn to other things. So, by the way, just want to remind our audience, Chicky, we're actually in our Q&A na. We just have a lot of questions also ourselves. But we want to also entertain the audience questions. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
please type in. Ayan, meron ng agad-agad, Chicky. May
Yeah.
isang question tayo dito.
Okay. Teka lang yung last lang na sabi ni Bing, don't run away from pain, go through it. Okay? Tsaka
Yes.
be a
Thank you.
conduit of blessings. All right. So this
Yes.
is the first question. What is that one thing that really made you bounce back? Sige, let's start with Jo, ikaw, nakapag-bounce back ka na ba? I mean,
Ang
parang
hirap i-define ng bounce back, Chicky.
oo nga
Ano ba daw
parang
sabihin yung bounce back na yan?
parang naka-move on somehow, naka-function na
Function
somehow
yan.
after
Yeah.
the death of your child.
So, yun 'no, hindi talaga siya totally parang back to normal. Kasi parang yung missing your loved ones is a daily struggle. So,
Yeah.
parang araw-araw 'yan. May makita ka na favorite niya, yung pagkain, alam mo yung favorite place niya, spot yung place niya sa bahay kung saan siya lagi nakaupo. Parang
Yeah.
alam mo 'yun, daily, emotional struggle yung haharapin mo. Ngayon, paano mo siya harapin sa sarili mo. So, babalik ka talaga kay God, eh. Yung trusting God kung ano yung plan ni God o bakit niyo na-experience itong trials na 'to. Ano ba yung purpose ni God sa buhay mo? So, ngayon sa akin parang naging more on ano ako, aware, kumbaga conscious dun sa mga actions ko. Na kung halimbawa, may gagawin akong something na alam ko hindi glorifying kay God, hindi ko na lang siya gagawin. And then ngayon din yung relationship ko sa wife ko, parang hindi na ako umaasa baga kung ano yung magagawa niya sa akin, but more on kung ano yung magagawa ko para sa kanya, sa anak
Mm.
ko, sa ibang tao. Baga more on serving na. Yun na yung parang kung sabing bounce back, parang yun na yung positive things na nakuha ko parang dito sa experience
Yeah.
namin nung losing Caleb. So,
Yeah.
parang kay God talaga yung doing good things, ah, kahit na may emotional struggle ka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, tricky. In the interest of time, no, I know maraming tanong and we'd like to hear from all of our guests. But because of our time limitation, we won't be able to ask everyone the same question. So we'll just direct it to specific people. But thank you, Joe, for that.
Yeah.
Ayan, merong follow-up dito. Maybe someone else can answer it. Bing, when you ask God why, anong sagot niya? Or why me?
Hirap ng
Why not?
tanong, ah.
Yeah.
Why
Oo,
why
ang
not?
sagot na God.
God?
Correct.
Sige, Bing.
Yeah. Ang sagot ni God, no, actually, matagal yung sagot ni God. Di ba, when I ask God why, sagot ni God, why not? Bakit hindi?
Oo
Ba't
nga.
ako, Lord? Oo nga, why not? Why not you? Then later on, I
Correct.
realized I have to undergo this kind of grief. Itong pain na to discover my new mission in life, and that is to minister to those who have lost their loved ones. Kasi when I thought about my own pain, sabi ko, teka, ang dami namin. Kasi di ba pandemic yon. So teka, wait, hindi lang ako ang widow sa mundo. Hindi, marami pala kami. So sabi ko, now, I have to use my pain in order to be like parang torch. You have to burn to give light to others. So sabi ko, now Lord, this is my new mission. And that is to start a new ministry of reaching out to those who have lost their loved ones.
Yes. Ang
So
ganda
yun
nga
po yung
ng
sagot sa akin.
ministry mo, eh. Dami mong natutulungan and we thank God. We thank God for that. Yes. Okay, so do we have other questions?
Yes.
Ito, for Miss Ning and Brother Jo, is the grief from Portia Opinion, is the grief recovery program for believers only or can non-Christians join? Sige, Bing.
Everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Basta lang po, i-send nyo sa amin yung full name, complete address, email address, cellphone number. Kasi ipapadala po sa inyo yung workbook and then you will just have to invest on that. And then, welcome na po kayo sa program. Kahit po bumalik-balik kayo every cycle, you are most welcome.
Paano ba pumunta sa grief recovery? Do they go to a particular website?
Meron po tayong website dyan. Meron pong website pero if you look for the group, meron po sa Manila. Bibigay na lang po natin yung detalye sa mga comments.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
contact Bing for more details in short.
Yes.
Yes. Ayan. Meron dito si Tins. Pwede po ba kumuha ng insurance ang mga seniors? Okay.
Meron.
Yes.
Merong mga insurance companies
Yes.
who offer
Yes.
for seniors. Yes.
Yes. I think
You can
ito,
contact, yeah.
Sige, I think it's a question, depende kasi sa situation, and since we don't know ano yung kailangang insurance details, maybe contact Bing na lang din.
Opo.
Yeah,
Oo,
oo, just
oo.
contact.
So,
Meron ho
yes,
yan, meron ho yan.
may
Even for
iba-iba kasi,
seniors.
may iba-ibang
Meron pa po.
program ng insurance programs. I mean, sorry, iba-ibang anong tawag doon? Plans, yan, for the person, depende sa stage in life nila. Ayan. So, other questions? When you encounter something that reminds you of your loved one, how do you cope? Na-mention nila yun kanina, diba? Like si Binga and Jo na yung favorite place or yung things na nag-trigger sa laman niyo. So, ano yung way that the Lord moves you to respond pag ganoon?
Ano po, sabi ko lang, ang tawag po diyan ay grief ambush. So we were trained grief recovery program na ano po, pag naiiyak kayo, umiyak lang ho kayo kasi titigil din kayo. So I even tell my family and my comforters, pag umiyak ako, hayaan niyo lang ako, titigil din ako. Sanay na sila. Pati ho kayo masasanay na rin. Iyak niyo lang. Nakakaiyak naman talaga. Edi umiyak ka lang, titigil ka rin naman. And the Lord knows it. He understands.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no shame in crying, diba? No shame in that.
Indeed. Oo.
Okay?
And
Alright.
Chiki, ang
Yes.
important dito, hindi sila magpigil na, ano mo yan, umiyak or isabihin kay God, ilament yung nararamdaman nila. So, yan, Portia said, thank you, Sis Bing, for your answer. Okay, to wrap up, we'd like to ask a question for all our guests. No? So, let's start with Tess. I know, Tess, the Lord's also preparing you day by day for what He has in store for you. Hindi natin alam yon, but we know that your future is secure in the Lord, no matter what happens. I think that's the greatest encouragement. But we'd like to ask you, and of course later, Big and Joe, what beautiful treasure did you discover as a result of your adversity? Or in the midst? In a way, hindi pa rin naman tapos yung battle, diba? But what is the treasure, the greatest treasure that you have in the midst of adversity? Tess?
For me, no, kasi when I remember one pastor said, no, God cannot really use you unless He crushes you. Kailangan talaga, when God will use you, you should be crushed. Ganun, no? So for me naman kasi, when we begin to understand that we are crowned with God's steadfast love and mercy, it says in Psalms, no, 103 verse 3, we will have a different outlook in life, knowing that nothing can separate us from the love of God. And we believers and we as children of God are supremely victorious because of our relationship with Jesus Christ. Amen. And God allows nothing to separate us from His love. Sabi ng Bible, for I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, or nor angels, nor principalities, or nor powers, or nor things in present, like this ordeal that we have been through, no, and go through, or nor things to come, nor height, or nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. So, kay Lord lang po talaga. Yun. Because we are crowned with God, steadfast love and mercy. Yun po.
Wow, what a treasure! A beautiful treasure to have the Lord in your journey. How about Jo?
Yan, no? Parang dito talaga, parang it reminded me na ang buhay natin dito sa mundo is temporary lang. So, we are just
Yes.
passing by. So, yung heaven, yung picture ng heaven and earth, parang naging sobrang clear. Parang naging HD picture na sa mind ko yan. Parang alam mo yon na before, parang alam ko na may heaven and earth. Pero nung na-experience namin to, parang naging mas clear siya. And naging more conscious kami sa mga action namin. Yun nga, parang kung glorifying kay God or hindi. And then yung treatment namin ngayon sa asawa, parang kami, parang kung small thing lang, parang wala na 'yan, parang hindi na nagma-matter ngayon. So, we are willing to do something good sa bawat isa sa amin, 'yun. And naging compassionate kami, kumbaga kung ano yung puwede naming matulong sa iba, kung ano yung kaya mong gawin ba. So, 'yun yung
Yeah.
sa mga naging positive na nangyari, and 'yun, talagang spend more quality time with them. Kasi you don't know, parang
Yes.
'yun.
Yes.
Uh,
Nice. Thank you.
ooh, thank you, Jo. Bing?
Actually, lahat ng sinabi ni Jo totoo dahil yun din nasasabihin ko. Pero yun nga, lahat tayo heavenward, looking for the time na magre-reunion tayo. Actually, ang naka-encourage sa akin is to really get my walk with the Lord more seriously. Sabi ko rin sa mga anak ko. Because we have to go to a reunion with Daddy. Sabi ko, but Daddy's in heaven, so kailangan punta tayo kay Daddy. Where Daddy is where Jesus is. So I would just like to leave everyone with this life verse ko to sa Psalm 73:25 to 26. Ito yung kinanta ko. Nung panahong sad na ako talaga sa pain. Yung, whom have I in heaven but you? I desire you more than anything on earth. My health may fail and my spirit may grow weak, but God remains the strength of my heart. He is mine forever. So sa kabila ng adversities, talagang si Lord pa rin yung matitira. Siya yung noon, ngayon at bukas. At siya yung magpakailanman. O, di ba parang show? Talagang si Lord.
The
Thank
strength of
you.
the heart. Yes, and your portion forever. The Lord is.
Yes.
Yes.
Grabe. I'm so overwhelmed, no, by the intense and emotionally gripping kwentos ninyo na talagang tagos sa puso. Grabe. Kanina lang, Jo, can I just say, gusto ko pagalitan yung anak ko nag-iwan ng medyas sa sahig. Pero after what you mentioned, parang naiba tuloy yung ano ko, perspective ko na talagang, cherish these moments because you never know, right, when the last day will come. So thank you for all your sharing. Thank you for all the lessons that you've taught us, practical, emotional, spiritual lessons. Thank you so much. Ang dami-dami naming nakuha from you guys. And ang galing din, meron din palang recovery, no? Recovery, what do you call that? Recovery seminar?
Yeah,
Uh,
program. It's
program, recovery
three
program. It's
months.
available
Yeah,
to anyone. Yes. Okay, so salamat to all our wonderful guests, Bing Resurreccion,
thank
Tess
you.
Rodrigo, Jo Jose. We can't thank you enough. We know na mahirap balikan yung mga kwentong kwento nyo sa amin ngayon, but you did it because you love the Lord and you want to glorify God in your lives, and He is glorified. And we are in result, we are inspired and encouraged to keep on living the life that the Lord has planned out for us. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Bing. Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Tess.
having
Thank you,
us.
Jo.
Thank you,
Yes.
Steph,
And
for having
Chicky,
us.
we see how the greatest treasure in adversity is really a deeper intimacy with God, and why these guests of ours, si Bing, Jo, and Tess, were able to say what they said is because the Lord brought them talaga to greater dependence on Him. So yes, that is the treasure. Okay, maghanap ng ibang treasure. Okay. Hindi,
Okay,
hindi
so
yun. Yes.
guys,
Oo.
ito nga
On that,
from, yeah,
yes. On that note,
okay.
ako, may questions pa dito pero I think hindi natin masasagot ngayon, no? Especially on
Yes.
suffering. But we know that when the Lord gives you this heart to ask Him, He will answer you. And of course, we have your godly counsel through Life Max. So, that being said, join us in our discussion. After this, we have discussion questions that will be flashed after our webcast. Right after this, you will see discussion questions. But more importantly, the questions are to be answered in your Zoom room. So for those who are joining us for the first time, we have our Zoom details flash there, meeting ID, passcode. So actually, as early as now, you can type this on your Zoom platform. And if you're joining us for the first time, we have room number 1, especially for our first time guests. If you're joining us for the nth time, the second time, or you're joining us already, please join the room that's been assigned to you. So we have this ready for you right after this broadcast. So we want to also thank our faithful men in uniform from the Eastern Police District who are joining us today. Thank you for being with us. And wherever you're logging in from, thank you for being with us today. We're also inviting those of you who may have the heart and burden to serve the Lord here in Life to the Max. Chiki and I are so delighted to serve you together with all the facilitators and our tech and our backroom staff. We want to serve with you as well. So we know that you want to serve. If you don't want to think about it too much, just pray and ask the Lord. Yes, Lord, serve, I will serve, and the Lord will equip you as He calls you. So please pray about this, and we'd like to have you with us here in Life to the Max. And don't forget, our live broadcasts are available on demand, but scheduled also live every second and fourth Monday of the month. So we'd like to see you on our next broadcast, God willing, August 28th. 2023, same time, 10 a.m. Manila time. So if you're abroad, compute the time, mark your calendar, don't miss it. There's always not just an interesting, but a life transforming conversation. So for you who missed the previous episodes, we also have our CCF Life to the Max page that's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please subscribe and click the notification bell. May bell pa. Okay, this is to alert you that you have subscribed. Yes, thank you so much. Please share this episode and the rest of our previous episodes if you watched it with family and friends. This is for free, all by the grace of God. I'm your host, Riva Galveston. It's been a privilege, an honor, a joy to serve you today with my beloved co-host, Chicky Pablo. Chicky?
All right. So, you guys, when you're struck by tragedy or adversity or any unfortunate event like a critical illness or loss of a loved one, loss of a job or home or loss of hard-earned money, don't be ashamed or be afraid to be vulnerable by opening up about what you're feeling or going through. Meron ho kayong mga friends, share it with them. We should not hesitate to reach out to others and seek help. Ultimately, our never failing help comes from God. So He should be our first go-to, okay? So
Yes.
it's our hope when we become a casualty of adversity or when we're on the other end as comforters, we practice the teachings that we all heard today, okay? Practice it. Till then, I'm Chicky Pablo bidding you farewell for now. Thank you all for watching. Watch out for our discussion questions after this. Stay positive and hopeful and stay safe. And God bless everyone. Bye.
Thank you. To God be all the glory.
Thank you. Thanks, Riva.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us